15 years, blowing the doors off the competition. Podcasting to planet Earth.
PNRnetworks.com.
I opened the closet door, and it reached out, and it tried to grab me.
Where do you suppose the monster is now? Just kind of hanging out in the closet up there? Right?
I don't know.
So, all the cameras up there, you're trying to get a photo of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Do you think I'm,
No, not at all.
You do?
No. Matter of fact, if you get a picture of this thing, I'd love to see it because, I don't think I've ever seen a ghost before.
Cavebabble. Hello and welcome to Cavebabble episode 276. This week's episode, House. This episode is brought to you by opening doors over and over and over again.
It's not about Dr. House?
No, this is not about Dr. House. This is the 1986 House movie.
1986?
I know. Does that confuse you? Because it shows as 1985 on IMDb because it wasn't released in the U.S. until February of 1986.
They filmed it in April of 1985. Well, I guess just took them a little while to edit it and release it.
Probably went to a horror fest or something and they showed it first then. I don't know.
There was a showing in Victoria, Texas, on December 6th, 1985.
I don't know, babe. Hi, everyone. This is Eric.
And this is Valerie.
Welcome to our podcast. Yes, this is my favorite movie ever. No, wait. Killer Clowns was my favorite movie ever. No.
Your favorite cult classic movie. Is this a cult classic? I wouldn't say so. It's losing its popularity quickly.
I don't think this one is really much of a cult classic. It's just based on who directed and produced and all of that.
Who did direct this?
Well, let me introduce the movie and then we'll do that. How's that sound?
Okay.
What are we talking about today? 1985's House. That's House.
This is a house where no one should live. It wants you. Horror has found a new home. House. Enter at your own risk.
Directed by Steve Miner.
Is he a miner? Did he work the mines? Who's Steve Miner anyways?
Isn't it Kee-Haw? Isn't Kee-Haw from Friday the 13th? It's not it's Kee-Haw. Isn't that what we determined when we did Friday the 13th?
Yes, I think that is what we would determine. I've slept since then, so.
It's Kee-Ma. Killer Mommy.
That's what. That's where he broke was Friday the 13th parts 2 and 3, and I think he actually directed Halloween H2O as well. So yeah, he's known from the Friday the 13th movie.
Cool.
I should say movies.
Cool.
Plural. And produced by Sean S. Cunningham, who is known for the Friday the 13th series as a producer and director of the original one. So there you go.
What happened from then to this? Or is this before then?
No, this is after then.
Okay.
This is after parts 2 and 3, anyway.
They must have done a few too many drugs before they did this one.
As a matter of fact, I wondered it partway through. Well, I'm jumping well ahead, but I thought the spear gun.
Oh, he was diving for abalone off of Point Ridge. Oops, sorry about that.
Was a callback to Friday the 13th Part 3 because he uses that spear gun. That's the 3D one, Friday the 13th 3D, where they had terrible 3D effects and you can see.
That's true. So they did kind of do a few bombs along the way.
The third one really isn't a good movie, but it's campy classic now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has terrible 3D effects. As a matter of fact, you can see the wires on like the eye. An eyeball gets popped out and you can see a wire on it. And like in the scene with the spear gun, Jason shoots one of the camp girls. She's in the water. She's getting as I remember, a wallet. She's getting a wallet out of the water, and as she looks up, "Who's that over there? What are you doing?" And he shoots her with the spear gun from across the lake, part of the lake, and that's a terrible effect too. You can see a line as it comes toward the camera. And so anyway, when they introduced the spear gun in this, I thought, "Oh, is that the same one?" But I don't think it is. It's not. It doesn't look the same.
Not the same. Quite the same prop.
But it is another spear gun. So there you go. And that was it. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, when you mix comedy, fantasy, and horror, this is what you get.
This is what you get. Have you guys seen this? It's available to stream on Amazon Prime. Go watch it tonight. Or actually, go watch it before you listen to us.
That's true.
Go watch it right now. Okay, what did you think? It kind of went wonky about halfway through, didn't it?
Yeah.
So what did you expect? Did you expect anything? Did you think it was going to be more straight up horror?
I didn't expect anything, and sometimes that is good because, I mean, you've introduced me to some horrible things before.
I don't know
and
what you're
I just
talking
was
about.
expecting this to maybe just be, when you say it brings back, oh, you remember this. This is one of your favorites. And I think, oh my
God,
goodness,
not
what
one
is
of
he
those.
what's he doing to me? When I said, I'd like to watch The Stewardess. Okay, yeah, let's watch The House. Okay. Yeah, House. The Stewardess. House. Okay, yeah, they sound the same. So we watched House. And what did you ever tell the listeners what this is about?
Oh, it's about an hour and a half.
It's about an hour and a half.
It's about an hour and a half.
I didn't fall asleep during it, so that's good.
This one is about this. A troubled writer moves into a haunted house after inheriting it from his aunt. Aunt Hooper.
What makes that little bitty ant think he can move that rubber tree plant?
Oh, yeah. I mean, she wasn't really using it. She was just hanging around.
Arr, arr, arr.
Oh my God, the dad jokes today.
Ba-dum-choom.
That's not really what it's about. He moves into the haunted house, but it doesn't really explain anything.
That's true. It doesn't tell you anything.
He has all kinds of family trauma in his background.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he and his wife lived in this place. This is where he was born and raised, or just raised? He was
raised because he was raised here by his aunt after his parents died. We really didn't get too much of that story of how his parents died. Just that his parents died and his aunt raised him.
Yeah, and then one day as he's trimming the hedges or the trees in a most peculiar manner, he's just kind of hacking forward with it, not really even cutting anything. And his son's back there with him, and his son disappears.
Well, this movie to me, it kind of at the beginning jumped all over the place, and throughout it jumps all over the place. But sometimes I was wondering if, like you said, that this is one that could probably be remade, and I could see this being remade as we are within his nightmare, because that's what this played as. It played as more of a nightmare rather than a waking, and then after the movie plays out, he wakes up and he's in a nut house. Is how I would see the curve.
That is kind of how they were
at the end.
Yeah, that's how they were setting it up, right? Because he kept doing all this flashbacking to Vietnam, which we'll talk about. It was completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he talks about, they talk about his parents dying, him being raised by his aunt, but then the next thing we know, where he and his wife and his son are, I guess, living with his aunt. I mean, it doesn't flesh that out. I don't know if they're living with her or if they're visiting.
Yeah,
but of course, more trauma, either or. I kind of presumed living, because then later in the movie, he's in a children's bedroom, but is that his son's bedroom or his bedroom? They really don't flesh that out. It just was not very deep. Then for a while there, I began to wonder, did he even have a son? Or was the son him? You know,
Right.
it was...
And he goes so completely mental throughout the whole film that it could have been anything. They could have set it up anyway. But they went the comedy route. It was like, it's not really horrific at all. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure why it's rated R. I mean, they toss an F-bomb or two maybe, but it's bloodless. I mean, even when a head gets chopped off of that witch character thing. But it was all just goofy monster makeup, and nothing was oogie, nothing was really bloody.
Right, no gushing blood, right.
I think the most blood we see in the entire thing is him cutting himself on his palm by accident.
Yeah, true.
So, yeah, that was weird. Even all of the Vietnam stuff, when they're getting shot up, there's no blood, no shells are flying, and no one's actually firing anything because...
Right, so why it's R is, I've seen much harsher PG-13
Yeah, it would
this
most
was
definitely,
R.
it would be a PG-13 these days.
So you keep saying he. Who's he?
Who was I just talking about, babe?
Yeah, who were you talking about?
I was speaking of William Catt, who played Roger Cobb.
You know who else he plays?
Yeah, he's the greatest of American heroes, definitely.
He's the singer. He's the singer that sings with the women that thinks he's all cool with the real tight-fitting clothes. The blonde curly hair with the glasses and the tight-fitting clothes. And I just thought of Cat, because that's the name of the guy who does the weird, these songs is Cat.
That's Tom Cat. You're thinking
there
of
you
Tom
go. See?
Cat.
Oh,
Yeah.
brother, William's brother. Okay.
There you go. William's brother is Tom Cat. Look that up. Tomkat.
If you look at them, they do look similar.
T. I think there are two T's in his name, too.
No, there are 3 T's at the end of his name. Tomkatt.
Oh, my God.
We'll start that
guy.
rumor, because that's what I thought. When I saw him, I thought, he looks a little bit like Cat, the guy who... And I wondered if, because he flunked in this movie, if he went on to do those weird songs.
Oh, God, I hope not. I don't think he has fallen that far.
Oh, you don't think he has fallen that far?
Did you like him in this movie?
I mean, for the type of movie it was, I think he played but I don't think he was the strongest of the actors and actresses. I think there was a different actor that was a much stronger I think most of the actors and actresses in this movie were weak.
Yeah. Believe it or not, he's walking on air, throughout this
Is he?
whole movie. Believe it or not. The greatest American hero. He's the guy that was in that show. We have George Wendt. Norm!
He
is hilarious in this movie.
Yeah, he was a strong actor. Mm-hmm.
Yep. As Harold Gorton, he's a neighbor who, for some reason, just walks right into the house whenever he wants to. You have...
Well, there again, they didn't flesh that out very much either, because there was some times where I thought he was invited and other times where he invited himself.
He kept saying, what, isolation or something, or alone? Or
Solitude.
Solitude, that's it.
Solitude.
Yeah, okay, I'll use all the synonyms for it instead of the word he actually used.
Solitude. Solitude.
And, yeah, but he had like 5 or 6 locks on his door. He could use any one of those, and it would have kept George Wendt out of the place.
Yeah, but he... Rarely. I think he used those locks once.
Well, he needed to run out of the house every time something was haunted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And we showed all those locks frequently, but then really never did anything with those locks.
I don't think...
They really never came into play.
I don't think they were ever used.
Right. Just once.
Oh, was it?
Yep, just once.
I don't remember the great lock scene.
Neither do I, because that's why how underwhelming it was, but I do remember him finally using them once. I think it was when she left with the child.
Richard Mall as Big Ben.
And he, too, I thought, was a strong character. Mm-hmm.
He's been in everything. Just look up his list. Everybody knows him. And he's been in good things and horrible things and everything in between. And when you're as tall as him, you get to play parts like Big Ben.
Mm-hmm. Never the lead, always the supporting.
And one of the stalwarts of Night Court. Go back and watch Night Court if you haven't watched it, folks. It's hilarious. We have Kay Lenz, 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 as Sandy Sinclair. She puts the star in, well, nothing really.
Right, exactly.
That's his wife or the ex-wife or separated or what? She's off pursuing her acting career, but they still talk to each other on the phone?
Yeah, one time he told the other lady, pool girl,
who we will get to next. Yeah, exactly.
that he was divorced.
Oh, that's right, because she said, "Oh, here with your wife." Okay, yeah. Kay Lenz, I don't. Did you know that she was up for an acting award for this show?
She was?
Not a well-known one, but yeah, she was nominated.
And is that why they focused on the fact that she lost during this movie? Because she was up for an award during this movie and she lost.
Oh,
was
no.
Foreshadowing of what really happened?
For this movie, babe.
I know, but in this movie, she lost.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's right. Okay, man, I tell you what. Okay, I'm going to have to turn my brain. Hold on a sec here. Wait. Okay, I just turned my brain on.
And you're supposed to be the one that knows this movie. You watched it
I haven't seen it a million times. Actually, I've seen the second one, the second story one, more than this film. Anyway, so yes, she had lost an award near the beginning when she was on that payphone with him.
You're right.
And her
payphone.
And her co-star comes up and just grabs her and starts taking photos for the press with her while she's on the payphone with her ex-husband.
Yeah, this is just, it has a lot of drawbacks prior to modern technology. You have pay phones, you have dial phones, you have push button phones. What else? Oh, the moped scooters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
those are still around,
The mopeds? Not the mopeds. Now they have...
cool scooters.
Yeah, cool scooters.
Scooters. They have scooters now.
Velociraptor scooters.
The Velociraptors.
Velociraptor
We ride around on Velociraptors these days. Jeez, the technology in this show is so old. This movie is so old. God, I want to ride a Velociraptor now. Don't you? Wouldn't you want to? Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
Fast.
Okay, we're going to leave Kay alone now. Let her take her photographs with the guy for the press. We have Mary Stavin playing Tanya. Barely know her name because she's in here for one reason. Mm-hmm. And that's because she's hot. She's weird.
She was crowned Miss World in 1977.
You know what else she did? I told you about it just a while ago, and I was very excited.
Yeah, what did she do?
In 1979, she released a disco song.
And the name?
Feeling Good, Being Bad.
Feeling good, being bad. Feeling good, being bad. We win the fruit's forbidden, and you gotta keep it hidden in the dark.
Isn't that the best disco song you've
Whoa. Whoa.
It sounds like every other disco song you've ever heard. Yeah, she was what I consider like the Christy Brinkley from National Lampoon's Vacation. She's kind of like that in this, except she actually has things to say. Christy Brinkley doesn't have much to say in that movie.
She did say a few things.
She did some terrible things.
Yeah, she did.
Oh my God, like this, like what did she say? Something about she knows when a man wants to work or something like that?
Yeah, when a man wants to play.
And when a man wants to play.
I can tell when a man wants to work. I can also tell when a man wants to play.
But she was playing him because no woman would do what she did. Leave her child with a complete stranger.
She did. She came over like that night. And
I should say no good mom would leave her child with a complete stranger to go out on a
She shows up like she's going to flirt with him, and she has her kid, who, by the way, I totally called, was the director's son.
Mm-hmm. They really made him cry.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But she introduces him to her son and says, okay, and you're going to babysit. Thank you very much for doing that. And during that scene, also, the kid has, well, see, we're jumping way ahead, but the kid has a witch's hand on his back
Mm-hmm.
that his mom doesn't see for whatever reason. A chopped off witch's hand.
And how in the world the witch's hand got on the kid's back? I mean, like I said,
It's so stupid.
This movie just, yeah.
I know what
has
you're talking
no
about.
Continuity.
It's wonderful. It's the best movie ever. But around that same time, he's trying to get that witch's hand off the kid's back without her seeing. So he takes him into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Rips
I
it
took
off
your
of
kid to
him,
the bathroom.
and
We went potty together.
Flushes the hand down the toilet, which I don't know how the hand fit down that toilet anyway. But and he brings it back out. Oh, he just had to go to the bathroom. Oh, thank you for taking him. It's like, are bells not going off in your head? And then later that night, he gives him a bath.
I know. It's like, okay, these days, none of that would pass.
And he's not a little baby either.
No.
He just met this kid like 2 hours earlier.
I'd say he's probably 4. Yeah, the little boy's probably 4 in this movie.
You know how old he was? Not old enough to complain about the mullet that his father, the director, gave him.
Oh, the mullet. Does his father, the director, gave him that mullet?
I don't know if he gave it to him, but he allowed him to have it, and he filmed him with it. The poor little kid.
But, so does Tomcat have a mullet, so that's, probably, maybe his, maybe.
We're back to Tomcat. Really?
Maybe William Cat would convince the director to give his son a mullet.
Go ahead. Look him up on YouTube, everyone. Do it now. Tomcat, one word with a K and the cat. Yeah. Here, I will give you a little excerpt of Tomcat. Here's who Valerie is talking about.
Walking beside you every day makes me so proud. I just gotta say that I love you.
See what we mean?
Hear what we mean. Yeah, they didn't see.
Oh, okay.
Unless they went to the YouTube.
See here what we mean?
See here. Now, we've piqued your curiosity.
Yeah.
You do have to go watch one of those music videos.
All right, there were other people in this movie too, like Michael Ensign.
Who's that?
He plays Chet Parker, the realtor guy.
Oh, okay. He had a bit part.
I mention him because he's that guy. He's one of those guys from the 80s and into the 90s. He played in everything.
And he's the reason that you pointed out the realtor sign, the for sale sign.
Yeah, we had Craven Realty, and I said, that's got to be for Wes Craven, right? So then I started looking for other shout-outs to different horror directors or famous directors, and I totally missed one that they don't say it is a thing. They say it could be a thing, and that is Aunt Elizabeth, Mrs. Hooper, as in Tobe Hooper, the director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ah.
If those are supposed to be in there, good on them. If they were just happy accidents, that would be a little too much of a coincidence, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I need to introduce Eric and Mark Silver, who play Jimmy. What?
Oh, he's a twin. Jimmy's a twin.
No, I think it's playing him at 2 different ages. They were brothers who played him at 2 different ages, maybe?
Maybe.
Or maybe it's the same kid, but he wasn't in it long enough to have twins, was he? I don't know.
Well, you wouldn't think so. Not like, a Little House on the Prairie, but usually if they've got a bigger part, but that's true. This one didn't have that.
Mm-mm.
Eric is known as an actor for House, and Mark Silver is probably the same, known
that's the other
for
one.
House and LA Task Force. But yeah, it doesn't give them their soon dead gonna bite it years. Mm-hmm.
No. Speaking of which, though, we have Susan French playing Aunt Elizabeth, soon dead gonna bite it Hooper.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's known for hanging herself.
Swinging in the rain. Swinging in the rain.
Oh, and we'll talk about that scene too. Because there's no way in heck that grocery boy. It's me, grocery boy.
Mrs. Hooper? It's me, the grocery boy.
There's no way that he didn't see her swinging there when he first went into that bedroom. She was right. She was right there. It wasn't revealed until the camera backed away, and there she was. And he had to have seen her when he walked right in.
As soon as he opened the door.
Mm-hmm.
You would think so.
It's the first thing you would have seen. God, this movie didn't make any sense. Other than that, it was a perfectly crafted film.
She was in Jaws too.
Yeah, she was. I didn't remember her in Jaws 2, but...
Show me the way to go home.
They didn't sing it in that
I'm
one.
tired and I want to go to bed. That's right, that was in the first one. That's in Jaws 1.
You remember the third one was in 3D. And
yeah.
Yeah, it had Dennis Quaid.
Died April 6, 2003 in Santa Monica. We were near there at that time. No, we weren't. No, we were in Montana by that time.
When did she die?
April 6, 2003. That's right. We were in California anymore.
No, we weren't out there then. Okay, we have Alan Autry. He played cop number 3. Do not call him cop number 2 or number 4. He is cop number 3.
Yeah, number 1 and 2 don't even aren't even on my list.
Nope. They're not in my list either. Cop 3 and 4 are, though.
Well, they were quickly dismissed.
And cop number 4 was Stephen Williams, and I'll mention him because he's been in a ton of stuff, including he was Mr. X on the X-Files.
Oh.
And we just saw him fairly recently on the Lock and Key show that we watched.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
He was on that one, too. So, yeah, good on him.
Now, that is a good series.
That is a good series, yeah. Mm-hmm. There are so many of these things on Netflix that everyone is saying, are they going to have a second season now that COVID's around? All of these series that we want season 2s of, and they're not being made.
Yeah.
Or at least, I don't know if they're being made or not. Okay, that's it. I won't do any more on the cast. That's it.
Okay.
That's
it on the cast.
Mm-hmm. Had you mentioned that where the real world house was? You did. That's in Monrovia, California?
Nope, I didn't mention it, but you go ahead. Yeah, because you shared a photo of, hey, look, here it is.
Yeah, I found the place. I saw in the trivia notes that it was filmed in an actual house, which is obvious that it is. And it's in Monrovia, California. That's in the LA area, like North LA area.
Gorgeous house. I wouldn't mind having that house.
Yeah, and I looked at Google Street View, and it looks very much the same today.
It's probably a multi-million-dollar home, I would imagine, if it's in the LA area.
A lot of the details that aren't the same are ones that the film crew had added to the house.
Oh.
For instance, all the dooley bobs on top, not all of them, like all of the little spirey things up on top of the house, on the gables and everything, they added a bunch of those in out of foam.
Oh,
which I kind of wondered because they added 4 of them around the top of the chimney, and I thought, who has that many of those things on the top of their house?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense that, okay, they really don't. They just added those in. There are a few in the photographs. The biggest difference is at the front, where you go up the front steps. Right above that, all that ornate lacework up on top, or scroll work, I should say, up above is not there now. It's straight. It looks like the rest of what wraps around the porch area. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool. I mean, it's still gorgeous.
Do you think I don't think you really climbed around the roof of the house. I think that was a set.
Climbed around on the roof of the house?
Mm-hmm.
They added bits and bobs up there on top, though.
Okay, as they were filming the house.
Yeah, so that it would look funky from the outside, I'm sure.
Disguise it.
No, just so
we
that
didn't recognize it.
No, so that it would have all the little pointy up things, whatever you call it, the little spires and whatever. They look like little lightning rods up there. I did like the opening shot. It was throughout the whole opening credits, they just kind of went around the whole house. They started in the backyard, and so it was like a realtor's view of this place. It was kind of neat. And went around the front, and one thing that I read about and didn't notice was that front walkway that went from that fence, which, by the way, they built for the movie, and went up to the front steps. That was actually plywood that they painted gray to look like cement because it didn't have that walk. But if you look at the photographs now of the place, there is a walkway there.
Yeah, now there is.
So they added one. They must have thought, oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
Say, oh, I like that look. Let's do that. But they didn't go with the tacky wall, which was good because that wall didn't match the era of the house.
No. Oh, boy, wallpaper. Whew.
Yeah, it was, though. That was the era that house would have been originally built, I would imagine.
There are some funky walls in this place. I like the old style wall plates for the lights too, those push button ones from those old houses. I like those things. I can't imagine they're very safe, but they're really cool.
Why wouldn't they be safe?
Well, I'm sure they're all...
Would they be any more dangerous than our current wall switches? Every time we do our current wall switches, they go spark. Keep waiting for the house to go up in flames.
Welcome to our house with Eric and Valerie.
So I can't imagine a push button would be any more dangerous than flipping a switch.
I guess I just associate the push buttons with that old wiring, and I'm sure that was all replaced, and so
maybe not. Mm-hmm.
You're right. You know what? I don't think this house is any more haunted than ours either. So there, our house is haunted, isn't it?
Now your sister begs to differ. When your sister came to visit, she didn't feel any negative energy here.
Hey, I didn't kill and bury all those people in our basement for nothing,
Oh, I didn't think it was a basement. I thought it was along the path.
Wait, did I say that? Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah, by the way, this movie, if you bury things in your yard, just make sure there are cartoonish humps over everything that you buried in the yard, so it's obvious that you've buried things there.
Yeah, make it obvious where something's been buried. Yeah, you don't want to hide the fact you've buried anything.
No, don't.
Mm-hmm. No. Shh.
What do you think of the paintings inside? Did you notice?
I thought they were cool. The first thing I thought of is, hey, Courtney does better paintings than that.
Oh, man. See, now everyone's a critic, I know. I do better ones than that, or I know someone who does better ones than that. But our daughter is a
professional artist, so I have the right to say that, because she's a professional artist.
Well, describe better is what I'm saying.
Well, an art is all in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yes, it is, right.
Yeah, so it's just the style, the style of... Mm-hmm. His is a very flat art. Hers has a lot more substance to her art. I'm sitting in the room with her art, so I can speak with knowledge. Hers is not flat like his is. Hers has a lot more depth.
Well, I can say this, that most of these, if not all of them, I guess, are by Richard Hescox, Hescox. And he painted all kinds of iconic VHS box cover art and posters and things like that for genre movies. Like he did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one and the Swamp Thing one. That one I really remember. And Neverending Story, that classic with Bastion on top of the Luck Dragon with his arms raised in the air and is coming toward the screen kind of. He painted all of those. So he's a good artist. You should see his artwork.
That's true. Yeah.
It's not necessarily his best work in this movie, but he's gone on to have a big, long career. He's still around.
He was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not quite sure how they discovered all that, but I'm glad they did because it's cool. I enjoyed that part of it, is finding things on the wall and saying, now, man, that looks familiar. What is that? And it wasn't anything they weren't ones that I would remember from box art or anything, but it was that style. It was in his style.
Yeah, you kept saying, oh, that's a so-and-so. Oh, that's a so-and-so.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't any of the so-and-sos.
No, it wasn't any of the so-and-sos. So there. It's me, Grocery Boy. I love that part. That kid at the beginning, that's what they pan around and they come to the kid who's arriving with groceries for Mrs. Hooper. Aunt Elizabeth, and she's hung herself upstairs, and he just lets himself in. How would you like to be Grocery Boy capitalized?
Known as, the name Grocery Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, Pool Boy.
Oh, Pool Boy. And that's when he opened the door and didn't see her hanging there at first, and there's no way he didn't see it, but that's okay.
The typical funeral, now it was raining, right? Yep, it was raining. They had their umbrellas.
Yes, it was raining. When did that start? When did that trope start, I wonder, in film? There are so many of them.
Why does it have to rain on funerals all the time in movies? Yeah. Right. But not all the funerals I've been to. Yeah, but some of them I've been to, it was raining. Yeah.
It's a rare thing in a film when it's not, and when it isn't, it's kind of jarring. You're like, oh, it's sun shining. Yeah. And they're just standing out in the sun around the grave. Oh.
But around there, the one guy is saying to Roger, your aunt, she was a nice woman. She wasn't, crazy. This is unexpected. I'm surprised she would do something like this, unlike my wife. No,
unlike my wife. My wife's crazy.
Just wasn't like her to go and do something like that.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. I appreciate that.
Now, my wife, she's crazy. But your aunt, she was a good woman.
It was pretty funny.
Uh-huh.
I got a kick out of that part,
That
too.
was hilarious, yeah. And then later, when Roger meets Norm,
Yeah.
Harold, the neighbor, he's going, oh yeah, your aunt was, a Looney
That's
Tune.
before he knew it was.
Oh no, she was a saint. Yes, so you got to put that clip too. That was hilarious.
That was before he knew it was his aunt. It's like, yeah, crazy old woman.
It's great to have a new neighbor. Woman lived here before you was nuts. Biggest bitch under the sun. Just a senile old hag, really. Wouldn't be surprised if someone just got fed up and offed her, you know what I mean?
She was my aunt.
Heart of gold, though. Just a saint, really.
It was hilarious, yeah.
Yeah, so there are lots of little bits of dialogue like that were great. And then it just goes completely wonky for a while. And
I guess this Roger, so he's a writer, and he moves into his aunt's house to get the inspiration to continue to write this next book. I guess his first book, it was, I guess, a horror novel. And so this one that he's writing is about his experiences in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And just so, bizarre. Yeah, how they were trying to, and the Vietnam sets were
God.
awful.
I did like the line of, we'll talk about those in a second. I did like the line of fans waiting for autographs, that whole series of one after another of goofy people. That was pretty funny. But yeah, that Vietnam set. I don't know who has those scenes as their favorites in this movie, but it ain't me.
No, and it was not, if anybody has been in that area of the world, it definitely didn't look like those sets. And the flora, not only the flora, but the fauna, at one point in time, if you listen real carefully, you can hear the laugh of a kookaburra.
Yeah, I mentioned it. I was saying, listen to those. Yeah, I was saying it as we were out there.
That's not even, you can't even, those creatures aren't there.
I didn't associate it with a kookaburra. I just associated it with every stereotypical any jungle noise ever.
Jungle, but
and it was loud,
Vietnam.
And it sounded like this.
All right, everybody, gather around.
I am sick of that punk telling me what to do.
That's his job, man. Tell us what to do.
Nobody tells me what to do, buddy.
That Vietnam.
And that set, and that jungle, quote unquote, set that was on a set, it must have been about 30 feet wide, because there's no way they moved through it so slowly, because you knew it wasn't very long, it wasn't very far across. And they just had to reset the camera and just have them run back and forth in the same area.
Yeah, had to have, because, it was so fake.
And that's where we're introduced to Big Ben. That's Richard Mall's character, and he was of course, the stereotypical gung-ho Vietnam boy from America who's ready to take him on. And of course, he's going to die, we assume. He's taken off by the enemy after being shot, and ends up being the main villain in this show.
Yeah,
in the movie.
Which was interesting because, I guess now that I'm thinking about that would make sense, because he probably was in Vietnam before he was married and had a son. Because the whole plot, spoiler.
Yeah.
So, spoiler. The whole thing was, Ben is pissed at Roger for not killing him and allowing him to be, instead of, he was taken away and tortured by the Vietnamese. And so he kind of held a grudge for Roger. And so he came back from the dead and was torturing Roger one of the ways by taking his son.
Right, exactly. And all of the Vietnam stuff, they kind of missed an opportunity to play into that. It could have been actually creepy and more effective that way.
Yeah.
But as it was, the movie was so goofy otherwise, and then they tried to go with the serious moments, and none of it played. And none of it played right.
Which is where I think where you have the right idea. I think they could really remake this movie and do it well.
Right. Yeah, I think they could. Either you go full-on comedy, and it's all about the house, or you go full on drama and it's all about his PTSD and all of that. And
yeah, I think you go full drama
he
with the
slowly,
PTSD.
and it is that descent into madness, and then at the end, like
yep.
you say, you realize that
You wake up and he's in a nut house.
or
yeah.
you flip it. You flip it somehow. You do that, but this definitely is something that just exists in the 80s. But that of course is why I like it, because I was the right age when this stuff came out.
Of course, I guess he can't wake. Well, I don't know. I guess in those years, I was going to say wake up in a nut house, because there aren't nut houses anymore. So
I'm fairly certain nut house isn't used anymore either.
I know, that's so rude. Yeah,
Anyway.
that's so rude. Sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't use that terminology.
Oh no, I'm not.
At least I don't say cuckoo's nest.
That's right. We didn't say that. Good thing you didn't say that. What else are we glad that you didn't say?
People
Dave?
one flew over a cuckoo's nest.
That's
yeah,
right. Computer. That's what that
my
thing
goodness,
is.
yeah.
That is a huge case on that computer, and the monitor just is swallowed up by that humongous case that's underneath it. Oh my God, we've come a long way since 1985, right?
But when I saw that, I thought of your bodega. What computer did you have?
I had an Amiga 500 that slid in the side of it. You could slide it into what was called a bodega bay.
Oh my, yeah, and it reminded me of that computer.
That thing was so huge. That case was huge, and it was like 90% empty space. I loved it. Oh my God. I didn't notice this when we were watching it, but I went back and verified at the 26-minute and 3-second mark, because I wrote it down. Pause it right there. He's turning off the TV. Our main character is Roger's turning off the TV. It's when he was watching, the first time he's watching, I guess, his wife's show or whatever it was. You can see the filming crew in the tube of the TV. They're shooting directly at the television. When it turns off, you can see they're behind a couch. It's kind of fuzzy, but you can see a couch. Looks like it to me. And behind it's a camera. The boom mic's there, and you can see a dude in like a tie-dye shirt or something to the left. So yeah, it's one of those that it's blurry enough or small enough that you think, am I seeing what? And then you look closer, you're like, oh yeah, there they all are. It's pretty. And
there's several times where you could see the shadow or reflection of a boom.
Only one of which I caught. It's when he's crossing the room. After the first time he closes the closet door did he see something at that time, or he hadn't seen it yet at that time?
Correct, yeah.
He opened it up and nothing was there, and he closes it and walks back across the room, and up in the upper left corner you can see the boom light whoop as he's going past. Let's see here.
This is the point where Eric and Valerie were going to chat about the extreme V-neck sweater that Roger wore. It was amazing, especially with no shirt underneath it. It was the greatest American sweater, and both of them had notes about it. Now it is the greatest loss of this episode. You may not want to listen to the rest of the show.
I say the movie starts going wonky. For me, it starts to go really wonky during his dress rehearsal scene when he's in full military gear. He sets up all the cameras, and then he does that dress rehearsal where he's jumping down the stairs. And they play this weird music. Harry Manfredini did the score. He has scored pretty much all of the Friday the 13th movies. That's what he's known for. And as a matter of fact, he has like 185 composing credits on IMDb. He's been working for a long time. And I call this soundtrack cello and synths. That's pretty much what's in here. But anyway,
that's it.
During that scene, it's really... No, the music there. I'm going to play a clip of it as during his dress rehearsal scene because it's ridiculous.
Hey, Raj. What you doing?
Me? Nothing.
That was it. Did you guys like it? The largest Billy Bass I've ever seen was on that wall.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Now that they could have played up too. I kept expecting him to find it and see there. I'm just morbid. Yeah, the body of his son stuffed into that barlin.
I'm a little worried about Valerie. Perhaps you should be too.
It just reminded me of is that in the original Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2 where all of the animals on the wall start cackling at them?
Evil Dead 2.
Anyway, that's what it reminded me of. The Marlins flopping. Monty Marlin, that's what we could call him instead of Billy Bass. We could call him Monty Marlin.
Yeah.
And he flops around and he shoots, he, being Roger, shoots him with the shotgun. And at that point, at the 43-minute and 56-second mark, pause it for the second time as he's coming in with the shotgun to shoot Monty Marlin. On the far left side of your screen, you can see one half of a guy's arm vertically, like split in half, wearing a watch, and he's holding the boom mic. And you can see it in that scene. It's just one little bit, and then in the next cut, it's gone. And don't worry, neighbors don't ever hear shotgun blasts. You can just fire away. Don't worry about it.
His neighbor heard, but he thought his neighbor was committing suicide, and that's what he called and reported. There's a suicide going on.
That's when he saw him with it, isn't it?
No, it is after Roger shoots what he thinks is a witch. It turns out to be his ex-wife. But no, it is a witch. Witch wife? Wife witch? It doesn't matter. Neither of you talk about it.
Oh, well, anyways, like I said, they didn't go very deep into this movie. Something woke him up, and the next thing you know, he's calling the cops, reporting a suicide attempt.
The house goes increasingly crazy. As a matter of fact, there are levitating tools at one point. They're chasing him around. My favorite part about the levitating tools is they wait for him.
Yeah.
He goes behind, he closes the door, and on the one, they ram into the door and go through it. But then later on, they're just floating in midair when he opens the door. They're just there. Oh, there he is. Okay, let's chase him again. I like that.
But you didn't see the strings that they were obviously floating on.
Yeah.
Suspended on.
Yeah, I didn't see the strings. Unlike in Friday the 13th Part 3, you didn't see the strings very much. Or at least I didn't notice. So I do love the witch's voice, though. That's something else I added.
Where's your son, Roger? You'll never find him. He's dead.
That design, I think that was an 80s thing, too. That kind of creature design. It's in several things. It kind of reminds me of the Land of Confusion video with those classic puppet characters. It kind of that style. So that's a Genesis song, by the way. Look up that video, Land of Confusion video, and the different. There's a Ronald Reagan one. There's a Maggie Thatcher one, and there are all these grotesque looking things with stuff like that. I mean, they're not scary though. Nothing about it is scary. They're just kind of weird.
Yeah, I guess they made a total of 7 monsters for this movie and a variety. So the one we saw first, of course, was the war demon that's in the closet. Now, they said that was it was a very elaborate puppet. It was 18 feet long, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was operated by 15 people. 15.
That's a lot.
People. Amazing.
That reminds me of the alien mother in Aliens. It's like they took a whole bunch of them to do that as well. That's my favorite critter in the whole movie, too. I thought that's the cool one to me.
Yeah, that was, I think, the most, the one that was closest to being a horror film monster. And the goofy obese witch, that was...
that's what I was talking about. That's not scary, and it's just kind of dumb. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like that look. And there are 2 little ones that I think they had little people in that were playing those.
Yeah, kind of. Those were like, zombie clowns, I guess. Not even zombies. They were just, like clownish type.
We enjoyed
monsters.
the killer clowns more than these ones.
I think so.
Oh, that Ben suit, the Big Ben suit, the skeleton. First of all, a lot of these movies have skeleton faces. They don't have any lips, but they're enunciating just fine.
Yeah.
And it's always bothered me. But with this one, it was obvious why, because you can see his lips inside the suit speaking. Kind of like a xenomorph. His tongue has lips on him. He has a tongue that can talk, right?
But here's my question. Why wouldn't you have the actor who played Ben play his zombie?
Yeah, I don't know why they had a player for that.
Different person played Dead Ben.
I don't know why, because he's definitely tall enough. Richard Mall's huge, so...
Yeah, I don't know why he would do that, unless Richard Mall didn't want to sit for all that makeup.
Yeah, maybe so.
Or not makeup, it was a costume.
It really
obviously.
was just a suit, yeah, that they put him in. He was kind of dumb. Oh, man. I kind of always have liked the mirror portal scene where he smashes through the mirror. I thought that was cool. And then goes through it with the rope and all that happy stuff.
With the skeleton bat.
This is the first time I've noticed, of course, I've not seen this movie in ages, but all of those little synthy blips and stuff that are going when he's going down that rope, I like those. I'm going to put some of those here because they sound kind of cool. That whole part, I liked that part. Much better than all the Vietnam stuff.
Yeah.
And he's able to retrieve his son, and they just end. Just like
they
that.
live happily ever after. Well, they don't say. I mean, yeah, mom shows up, boy runs to mom.
House is going up in flames.
Yeah, house going up in flames. They pan to Roger, he's smiling. So, yeah, it's like, yeah, and you're right. And then it abruptly ends. It's like, okay,
And like I said, when he came out, I thought, hi, Mom. I'm the same age I was when I disappeared. How long has it been?
And that they didn't flesh out either.
No.
You don't really have a clue how long they've been separated.
Oh, but oh God, that happy ending music. Woo! I'll put some of that here too. The only thing better than that was the dress rehearsal music. Ta-da! And that was the end. All right, this is not my favorite movie ever, but what did you think of this one, babe?
Well, it was entertaining. I didn't fall asleep during it. I thought it was very shallow. I thought most of the actors and actresses were not very good.
Don't mince words, Bones. How do you really feel?
How do you really feel? So it's not a movie I would ever want to watch again. I mean, I'm not sorry that I watched it, but I wouldn't want to. It's not one that I would run out and buy and put into my collection.
What she meant to say was, it's wonderful, and we're glad that you listened to this episode and loved every second of it. That's what we meant to say.
Yeah,
no,
it made
I
more
agree.
in the opening weekend than its budget to make it. So I mean,
There you
good for
go.
it.
There you
Good
go.
for it. Yeah.
Now, I've seen the second one, the sequel to this, more than I've seen this one.
Okay, so you must like the second one better.
I've seen it more than this one. I've seen it more than this one. And it's one that goes full on with the humor. And yeah, I remember more about it. And we're going to watch that one too. I don't know if we'll podcast about it. We're going to watch it anyway.
We're going to watch it, but we may.
Will
so
you?
How many house movies did they make? Is there? It looks like they're.
If there were other ones, they were direct to video that I'm not interested in. So will you watch it with me though?
Sure.
You will?
Here you go. Here's your trivia. So upon release of February 28th, 1986, it grossed $22.1 million worldwide.
There you go.
Was followed by 3 sequels.
Oh.
House 2, House the Second Story, House 3, The Horror Show, and House 4, The Repossession.
Oh, see, now that one, House 4, The Repossession, I remember that title. So I wonder if I've seen... If so, I don't remember them. So
there you go.
Oh my God! You know those are at least 2 direct-to-video sequels, right?
Yeah. Well, let's see. It says House 3, The Horror Show is not a direct sequel.
Oh, okay. And shocked and amazed that they made a bunch of these. You just go into a house and you have them find weird things, and there you go. Bob's your uncle. Easy. I've just written the next House movie.
There you go.
Anything to add here at the end?
Go drink your Miller beers. I mean, they did plug Miller beer.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And what else? They had
cans and the
Diet Coke. I saw, or Diet Pepsi. Diet Pepsi.
They had a Coca-Cola refrigerator, and then they had the good old microwave with the fake wood-sided microwaves.
Oh boy, We won't say how old I was when this was being made, but yeah, that's... Okay, I was a teen at this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember all that stuff, and so do you.
One of my first microwaves was one of those big bahonkin' things like he had.
And you never forget your first, right?
I remember exactly where that first microwave went to. I actually ended up giving it away. It even came with us to here. That's how, they made things in those days that lasted.
Well, the thing was, it was like a 2.5-foot box all around, but yet the space in the microwave itself was tiny.
But don't stand very close to it. It will reset your pacemaker.
Yeah, right. Oh, so many times my mother, don't stand close to the microwave door. Don't look through it. It's going to kill you.
Go blind.
It's like, oh my God, if your oven isn't any safer than that, then you shouldn't have it in the house. Stop it. You're going to start the fusion process. Guess how my mom has never sounded. Just like what I was sounding like right there.
Exactly.
So there you go. I don't think I have anything else at the end. We've talked about microwaves. I marked that off my list. That was the biggest one on my list. So there you go.
Wear your mask, wash your hands, and be safe.
That's right. Be safe, everyone. Please. Let's knock this out. Please.
Let's knock this out of the ballpark.
Ah, jeez. Okay. If you would like to share your thoughts on this movie or any other movie or House, the series that you might have thought we were going to talk about, you may get a hold of us at cavebabble@gmail.com. Or you may go over to cavebabble.com and see a list of our shows on our blog. You may also join our Facebook group. Search for Cavebabble Podcast and ask to join, and we will accept you. We are very accepting. You may also subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Search for Cavebabble Podcast and subscribe. And if you like what you hear, please give us a review. We would appreciate that. We are part of the Popcorn and Roses Network. That is T.C. Kirkham and Kim Brown. And you may go see them at ecinema1.com. They have 1,000,000,001 shows themselves, and we're happy to be part of that family. And that's about it. Don't open the door.
Shh.
Or if you do, don't expect anything to happen the first time. Only at midnight. Oh, wait, no, at 12. Was it midnight or was it noon? I think it could be either one because
Could be either, but not until the clock strikes 12, whether it be AM or PM.
I could have sworn it was just like bright light for part of them and middle of the night for others, and the dudes coming over to watch movies, what, at noon or at midnight?
Possibly, don't open the door until noon or midnight.
Okay, really, we're out of here this time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cavebabble.
Sucker.
15 years, blowing the doors off the competition, podcasting to planet Earth.
PNRnetworks.com.